Hi guys, welcome. Mm, I'm sorry we had to end the other live. Something came up, but everything is okay. I want us to look at forgiveness, letting go of grudges and bitterness. When someone you care about hurts you, you can hold on to anger, resentment, and thoughts of revenge, or embrace forgiveness and move forward. Who hasn't been hurt by the actions or words of another? Perhaps a parent constantly criticized you growing up, a colleague sabotaged a project, or your partner had an affair. Or maybe you've had a traumatic experience such as being physically or emotionally abused by someone close to you. These words can leave you with the lasting feelings of anger and bitterness, even vengeance. But if you don't practice forgiveness, you might be the one who pays most dearly. By embracing forgiveness, you can also embrace peace, hope, gratitude, and joy. Consider how forgiveness can lead you down the path of physical, emotional, and spiritual well being. Now, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness means different things to different people. Generally, it involves a decision to let go of resentment and thoughts of revenge. The act that hurt or offended you might always be with you, but forgiveness can lessen its grip on you and help you feel free from the control of the person who harmed you. Forgiveness can even lead to feelings of understanding, empathy, and compassion for the one who hurt you. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing the harm done to you or making up with the person who caused the harm. No, forgiveness brings a kind of peace that helps you go on with life. What are the benefits of forgiving someone? A lot. Letting go of grudges and bitterness can make way for improved health and peace of mind. Forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships, improved mental health, less anxiety, stress and hostility, lower blood pressure, fewer symptoms of depression, a stronger immune system, improved health, heart health, improved self-esteem, and much more. What is it so easy to hold a grudge? Why is it so easy? Being hurt by someone, particularly someone you love and trust, can cause anger, sadness, and confusion. If you dwell on hurtful events or situations, grudges filled with resentment, vengeance, and hostility can take root. If you allow negative feelings to crowd out positive feelings, you might find yourself swallowed up by your own bitterness or sense of injustice. Some people are naturally more forgiving than others, but even if you're a grudge holder, almost anyone can learn to be more forgiving. What are the effects of holding a grudge? If you are unforgiving, you might bring anger and new experience in your life. Become so lapped up in the long that you can't enjoy the present. You can become depressed or anxious, feel that your life lacks meaning or purpose, or that you are at odds with your spiritual beliefs. Lose variable and unleashing, con, you know, lose that relationship you have with others. And like a lot can happen. So, how do I reach a state of forgiveness? Forgiveness is a commitment to a personalized process of change. To move from suffering to forgiveness, you might recognize the value of forgiveness and how it can improve your life. Identify what needs healing and who needs to be forgiven and for what. Consider joining a support group or seeing a counselor. Acknowledge your emotions about the harm done to you and how they affect your behavior, and work to lessen them or to release them. Choose to forgive the person who offended you. Move away from your role as the victim and release the control and power the offending person and situation have had in your life. As you let go of grudges, you no longer define your life by how you've been hurt. You might find compassion and understanding. What happens if you can forgive someone? Forgiveness can be challenging, especially if the person who's hurt you doesn't admit the wrong. If you find yourself stuck, practice empathy. Try seeing the situation from the other person's point of view. Ask yourself why he or she would have in such a way. Perhaps you would have reacted similarly if you faced the same situation. Reflect on times you've hurt others and on those who've forgiven you. And write a journal, pray, or use guided meditation, or talk with a person you found to be wise and compassionate, such as a spiritual leader, a mental health provider, or an impartial loved one or a friend. Be aware that forgiveness is a process, and even small hurts may need to be revisited and forgiven over and over again. But does forgiveness guarantee reconciliation? If the hurtful event involved whose relationship you otherwise value, forgiveness can lead to reconciliation. This isn't always the case, however. Reconciliation but might be impossible if the offender has died or is unwilling to communicate with you. In other cases, reconciliation might not be appropriate. Still, forgiveness is possible, even if reconciliation isn't. What if the person I'm forgiving doesn't change? Getting another person to change his or her actions, behavior, or words isn't the point of forgiveness. Think of forgiveness more about what can change in your life by bringing you peace, happiness, and emotional and spiritual healing. You know, what if I'm the one who needs forgiveness? What if you're the person who needs forgiveness? The first step is to honestly access and acknowledge the wrongs you've done. and how they have affected others. Avoid judging yourself too harshly. If you are truly sorry for something you've said or done, consider admitting it to those you've harmed. Speak of your sincere sorrow or regret and ask for forgiveness without making excuses. Remember, however, you can force someone to forgive you. Others need to move to forgiveness in their own time. Whatever happens, commit to treating others with compassion, empathy, and respect. Stop breeding on people that didn't hurt you. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Someone said, if you never heal from what hurt you, you will bleed on people who didn't cut you. We must stop killing good relationships allowed us by transferring aggression to others. Hurt feelings are inevitable in relationships and are bound to arise in a fast-paced world of imperfect communication between people. Pain is a part of life, as everyone goes through painful experiences at some point in their lives. It is how we cope with our pains and our negative experiences that actually matters. When one carries painful memories, mistrust, or any hurt from the past, it is called emotional baggage. It is important to remember that frequently people hurt us because they too are in pain or hurting in some way. Hurting people hurts people. Sooner or later, someone will hurt you. There's no avoiding this. It will happen. However, more often than not, people won't hurt you intentionally. The moment you recognize this is the moment you act with compassion rather than in anger or any other way that could aggravate the situation further. The most empowering thing about hurt is getting over it, live a fulfilling life. Most times, feeling hurt is often nothing more than a state of mind, an interpretation you have made about your experience. I don't get angry with people that hurt me. I rather pity and empathize with them. The reason being that it takes someone that is hurting inside to actually hurt others. Most times, our lives are the extension of our previous hurts. Do not carry previous hurts to present, you know. Deal with our previous hurts before moving into a new relationship, or else our present partner will be the victim of our painful hurt. Don't wound others to heal yourself. Heal before you go into the next relationship, or else your next partner would be the object and target of your pain. How can you productively handle previous hurts and abuses so that they don't ruin your present and future relationships? And if you're a victim of the unhealed version of your partner, you may actually need to help him or her heal. Like everyone, I have been hurt in a lot of ways. I have dealt with it using the following: look out for the lessons and not the pain in your heart. Some people come into our lives for a season, some for a reason, some for a lesson, and some special ones are a blessing. Never allow your past hurt to define you. It is just a lesson, not a life sentence. Look for the lessons that you have learned from the experience. Focus on appreciating who you have become because of what you have experienced. People would hurt you, but what you do with that hurt is probably most important than the hurt itself. Don't just go through your heart, glow through your heart. And don't bottle up the heart. Share your pain with your trusted friends. There's no guarantee that you'll be able to communicate how you feel to the person who hurts you. And if you can, there's no guarantee they would respond how you want them to respond. I have been there. Sharing your pain with trusted and mature friends can help you heal. Have a chat with a close family member or friend and explain what happened. Get their perspective and opinion about the situation and maybe even work with them to try and resolve your feelings. Look out for people that can help you turn your dilemma into drama. Forgive yourself and the person who hurt you. And forgiveness is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone or drinking poison and hoping it would kill your enemies. I've been there. Life is an adventure in forgiveness, and without forgiveness, life is governed by an endless cycle of resentment and literation. Forgiveness is the first step towards healing and happiness. When you forgive, you heal. When you let go, you grow. What is forgiven is usually well remembered. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, but it does put us on the path to having a good memory of the past event. The brightest future would always be based on a forgotten past. Don't accept self criticism. Rebuild your self worth. Most times, people over criticize themselves, question your self doubt and your own negative assumptions rather than becoming mired in emotional self doubts, worry, and sadness. You can take actions that would help you see the world and yourself in a more positive light. Empathize and don't take it personally. You're not a bad person. The legendary Bob Marley said, everyone will hurt you, but you need to know those that are worth the hurt. Feel compassion for the person who caused you pain. Don't hold a grudge. Try to remember that the person did the best with the resources he or she had, and he has his own challenges in life. It is possible that the other person got caught up in the heat of the moment and said or did things they didn't truly mean. Likewise, it is also possible that they are going through pain themselves. They are hurting and unfortunately misdirecting their energy to you. This should therefore indicate that their words and actions have absolutely nothing to do with you, but rather all to do with their own personal challenges and insecurities. Ask yourself, could they be hurting in some way? What could be the source of their pain? What could I best get them to open up and talk about their feelings? Work on your expectation. Most times, people don't actually hurt us. but they hurt our expectation of them. You're feeling hurt because in one way or the other, your expectations weren't entirely met. When our expectation is unhealthily high and unrealistic, we will ultimately get hurt. It certainly doesn't help if you have a set of unrealistic expectations that would rarely, if ever, be satisfied. In such instances, you need to work through your expectations and bring them back to reality. Otherwise, it is possible you are always going to end up getting hurt. I've learned a lot. Move on. The most tranquil questions to ask after a heart is, where do I go from here? If properly handled, your heart can give you direction or probably redirection. Let go of the heart and move on with your life. Pain can be a beautiful thing if you channel it properly. To find direction during moments of hurt, it is important that you remind yourself of your strengths and of all the things that have brought you to this point of your life. It is therefore important to redirect your energy away from what is hurting you and instead refocus on your strongest qualities and things that bring you joy in the moment. Remove the victim's mindset. Stop being a victim of your previous hurts. As seeing yourself as a victim after a hurt empowers the pain. One way to instantly feel better about yourself is to accept responsibility for what happened and for how events transpired. In fact, you probably in some way, directly or indirectly, played a part in creating this situation. Recognize this. Take responsibility for your part in creating problems. Ask yourself, how did my actions and the things I have said or failed to say help to create this situation or crisis? You are at least partly responsible for what happened. And this is a good thing because with the responsibility comes the willingness to instigate positive change. Once you feel at least partly responsible, this gives you the strength you need to potentially make things better, to right the wrongs that happened, reduce your attachment to other people and their opinion. People will talk. There's this saying that the root of all suffering is attachment. Most of us were raised to value the opinions of others and dependent on how the viewers or how the society will say what they is there for. When someone we hold in esteem judges or rejects us, it hurts us so. We automatically enter into a pattern of reacting with equal hurt and pain. If you live for people's acceptance, you will die from their rejection. Set boundaries in your future. People will always talk. Most times, hurt can be a result of the violation of limits and boundaries. We must learn to set healthy boundaries and limits in relationships that help us avoid disrespect and hurt. This would help you to move forward and avoid the same problem in the future. Remove the pain triggers. There are things that can trigger past pain and make you feel them more deeply. It may be a gift, handwritten letter, or literature. Pain triggers must be meticulously severed in order to live a fulfilling life. Every hurt you experience gives you an opportunity to learn more about yourself, your values, rules, boundaries, and personal expectations. It gives you an opportunity to learn more about others and about how you relate to other people socially and intimately. And as you learn, you grow, and as you grow, you will make better choices and decisions in the future, which would help you to manage and minimize your feelings of hurt far more effectively. So just learn to forgive. Don't hold on to your pain or to what you went through.